Yo, this is DJ Fr8Train. You now tuned in to F.A.M.E TV.
What's going on, Gary? Brother, how you doing first and foremost?
Show was good, bro.
Hey, man. I mean, we about to get into it, I know you go way back since young boy days, I mean? And you had a lot going on throughout your life, That's an interesting story, especially to incorporate what you got going on right now, I mean, which we're going to get into. I see you got the shirt, straight road or the state road. That's a little situation you got that we're going to get into. But let's start at the very beginning. For the people that don't know you, not familiar with you, let's give them a brief little rundown of your story. We're going to start from the beginning. You from North, I know you from the Ave. Right. So give people a little, rundown of how it was for you coming up.
Yeah, also, I was born and raised now, Knife from Butler Zoo, Knife from Pike, Knife from Butler. Life for me growing up was pretty like regular. My pop wasn't in my life. That's a typical story for most people in the hood. My life wasn't too bad. We had like poverty and stuff like that. A couple years, my mom was in an abusive relationship, and that was like my rough years, like having holes in my sneakers and stuff like that. But I moved from down the park, like in my 9th grade year. We had moved up to 24th and 100 Park, like around the Tasty Cake Factory, and like I was up there for like my high school years. I graduated high school, and like right before I graduated from high school, my folks came home from the feds, and he came home from the feds. He had like a brand new CLS 500, and he came to school with me. He was from Nicetown, and he took me to his block, and I'm like, yo, that's Chris and Neef over there. He's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, you know them? He like, yeah, those my young boys. Chris and Neef was like whamming back in, 2004, 2005, like how Meek is right now, And from there, like I was in school, I was in Dell State, and then it's like, towards the end of my 2nd semester, I just started like falling off. Like I wanted to be more engulfed with the street life, So like that's how that's what my past took a U-turn, and I started doing the nonsense. Keep talking.
Oh, I want to stop you right there, though. We won't get more into that. Okay. But I'm glad you stopped right there. That was a good part to stop at. So, what made you go from college down Dell State, right?
Right.
And then you end up in the streets. What was that trend? Because that's a opposite sides. You go from school to the streets. So like, just briefly explain that transition. Like, what was that like?
So honestly, it was more so like a thing like just wanting to be in the so-called in crowd and stuff like that. And everything that came with that, the money, the females, the cars. And like, like my first time in, like doing something, it was like I was surrounded by people that was like, that was popping in the city and stuff like that, I met Oskino during that time. I think I met like Tone Trump. Like, I met a lot of people during the time of me, like those couple years of me, like from 05 to 07 when I got booked. I met a lot of people, like just from, being in that lifestyle. So like, honestly, it was just more so wanting to be in the in crowd, wanting to be more, I wanted to be popular. I wanted that attention, So yeah.
Got you. And so you said like you was briefly getting into that kind of cost you, and you ended up, getting locked up due to that, having to do like what, 4.5 years?
Correct, a total of 4.5 years.
So speak on, a little bit about going through that situation. You ended up getting locked up and getting your sentence, and now you gotta go through all of that.
So it was crazy because the wild thing was, like, I had no record. Like, I had open cases that I was fighting, but like October 9th, I got locked up like 3 weeks before I turned 21. So like my whole joint when I turned 21, I was like, yo, like I'm gonna get my gun license. You know, I'm 21, I could drink and stuff like that. And I got booked literally October 9th, my birthday November 1st. So like that joint was just like, wow. You know, like I said, my pop wasn't in my life. And like we at the, I'm at the Creek. That joint closed down now. But I'm at the Creek. And we on, you know, when you come through, you like on the hospital block and stuff, like the intake block. And my rappy, we in the child hall, he like, yo, Raz, that's your pop. I'm like, that's my pop. I look over and damn sure my pop in the fucking line over there, like in the child hall, John. And so he called my pop like street name out, you know, Fr8Train. That's where I got the name Fr8Train. And like my pop see me and shit. He turn around, he see me. Like my pop is a big dude. This nigga just started like punching on the metal table and shit, trying to pour the shit up. And like the COs, they kind of just let him like rock out and shit. And he was like, they was like, Mr. Holland, like what's going on? And he was like, that's my fucking boy right there. That's my fucking son. And like the whole child hall was just like, yo. And I was just like, Tch. So they pulled me to the side and talked to him. So like me and my pop wound up being Cellies and shit after I got off the hospital block. He had sent us, like, it was me, my rappy, and it was like one of my other homies from my block. He was booked too. And he like sent up a big ass bag for us. And then I got moved down to a cell. And then it was just like, we had our little issues and shit, you know, like I'm like, bro, I'm 21 and you trying to tell me how to be a man now, like you 21 years too late for that shit. So, yeah.
So wait, you didn't know him at all?
Like, I knew him, but it was like, I knew who my pop was and shit, but it was like, throughout the course of those 20 years, I probably seen my pop like 15 times. So throughout the course of my life, like I knew who he was and shit. Like I just heard the stories like, yo, you know, like it was just like a lot of like even guys like down my way, like down the park and shit. Like people knew my pop and shit like that. And every story I heard about my pop was like, oh, yo, your pop is a gun, your pop is a gas. So like when he'd come around, he'd even like he tried to like, you know, sell that to me. And honestly, I was fascinated with that idea. I'm like, damn, you know, like, you know, being naive and ignorant, I was fascinated with that shit. Like, damn, you know, he a part of this JBM. At the time, I didn't know what the fuck JBM was. And, he, you know, it was just one of them joints that, yeah, like, I was just fascinated with it. But, yeah, I ain't no boy like that. Like,
so did you even know he was locked up?
Nah. That, you know, people call it coincidence or luck or whatever, but I feel like that was just by God design. But like, nah, then it just, you know, by God design, we wound up at the same jail, you know, and that shit was wild. That shit was wild.
Right. So now you say y'all having a conversation and you like, I mean, y'all clashing because, like you said, you know, he wasn't in your life like that, so he can't really, I mean, the relationship, the rapport wasn't, you know, all the way there. So speak a little bit more on that because that's a deep thing in our community for us, like, you know, generational incarceration, meaning like a son and his dad cellmates.
Right, so it was one of them joints, like prior to that, like I think I did 3 weeks. I did like at the F, like prior to that, like that was like my really first time sitting on state road prior to the 3 weeks that I did. So like, you know, like I'm walking around the block with flip-flops and shit, like that's a no-no and shit, man. So, you know, there's one of them joints, like I had my flip-flops on, but you know, like I know everybody damn near on the block and shit like that. Like I, you know, in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm good. Like I don't, you know, I'm not even thinking about like, you know, me wearing sneaks in case shit go down or whatever like that on the block. I got flip-flops on, so like, and you know, like I get out my I'm coming out the hut, my bed not made up. I just, you know, whatever. I just get out my bed. So he comes, I'm up there playing cards and shit, and he like, yo, go in your fucking cell and go make your fucking bed and put some fucking sneaks on. And like everybody looking at me like, yo, Brad, why the fuck you letting nobody talk to you like that? And I'm like, yo, that's my dad. Niggas like, what? Like, you know, on some Paul shit, niggas like, what, your dad? Like, bro, take time, you know? I'm like, nah, that's my biological father. They like, damn, big homie, your pop? I'm like, yeah. So it's like we clashed like a lot, you know, just like, you know, I think it was more so a thing that, looking back, I could say that that's a thing now, like, he was hurt, that shit hurt him way more than that shit hurt me. Him seeing his son, and then his son being his Cellie and shit like that shit, like, had to resonate with him, like, you know, like, damn, I really didn't do my job as a father, and that shit, like, really hit him in the face, you know, me, Lane, you know, we were Cellies for like almost like 9 months. We were Cellies and shit. So it was like it was kind of wild and shit like that. But it's like now, like we got like a good relationship. We got an alright relationship right now. He has a way better relationship with my children right now too. But,
so he home?
Yeah, he home. He left before me. Like he had got released before I did. He home though.
Okay. So, one more question on that. So, briefly describe what that time was like outside. I know you said y'all clashed, but just like a little bit more to it, as far as like y'all didn't grow up. I mean, he didn't really raise you like that.
Right.
But now y'all forced to live together. And that confined your shit. I mean, for 9 months. So like, how did y'all go about getting to do it? Like, what was that like?
So it wasn't necessarily like awkward, but like I said, like my pop, he was one of them boys. Like again, he would tell me like, yeah, like you know, he'd tell me all his gang war stories and shit like that. And it'd be like, you know, like some of the shit, you know, sometimes, you know, depending on what mood you in, you like, yeah, the shit cool, but then there's other times like, yo, Dad, I don't even want to talk about that shit. Like, bro, you don't really know me and shit like that. I don't even know you. So like times, like, I remember we like, you know, I learned a lot of shit about Boy. Like, Boy really smart as shit. And I seen a lot of me in him. But I remember like one time, like, it's like, something happened and we got into it real bad. And he was like, you want to be a man? You think you can handle it? I'm like, bro, like, I ain't know nothing. Like, and we rumbling and stuff, but like I said, my pop was a big dude. And
so y'all actually...
Yeah, we mixing and shit like that. And he fucking like, each joint, he like, cause he like, you ain't gonna cry? I'm like, man, I ain't gonna fucking cry. He kept punching me, boom. Oh, you think you could take it? So each joint, them joints started coming harder. So, you know, like a tear rolled in my face. I'm like, yo, bro, you stabbed me. I mean, you punched me again. I'm gonna stab you in your neck while you sleep. And that shit fucked him up. Like, really fucked him up. And it's like, we legit didn't talk for like probably like 20 days in the cell. But each day I come in the cell, I got a chi-chi up under my pillow and shit. Or some shit. But it's like some of the older guys on the block and shit, man. They be like, yo, man, like your pop real fucked up about that, man. You got to holler at your pop. And I you know, some shit like, man, I don't give a fuck, man. Like, you know, like, boy ain't been there for me, and he over here trying to teach me how to be, like, you know. But eventually we had like a heart to heart and shit like that, and you know, a lot of shit that I thought that I was over as a young boy. You know, when you a young boy, you like, damn, man, I wish my dad was, especially like when my mom was going through the abusive relationship. I'm like, damn, man, like, I wish my dad would say, like, my dad would beat boy up and shit like that. We wouldn't been going through that. So it was like a lot of shit that I like suppressed, that I thought I was over this shit until, you know, you in there talking and you know, the shit just come running out. You like, damn, I forgot about this. And then you, this and there, you wasn't there for me. You ain't do this. I learned how to do this without you. I learned how to do that without you. I feel like some mistakes I probably shouldn't have went through because you wasn't around and shit like that. So, like it was cool. It was cool. Like, you know, like that's my guy.
Got you. All right. So you said he went home before you,
right?
And eventually, like, you do your time, your 4.5 years, you said, and then you ended up coming home, but you ended up having still like some parole time to walk up, followed by some probation time to walk up. So speak on the transition during that time from, I mean, like you said, you ain't never really do but 3 weeks, so having to do 4.5 and then come home, what was that like for you?
So like, you know, coming home and shit, so like, you know, once I went upstate, cause like I had my folks, who I said had came home from the feds, he had got killed right before I got sentenced. He got killed September 19th, 2009 and shit by a 14-year-old out in Logan and shit. And that shit like fucked me up. Like, I don't, like on some shit, like I think I ain't lose nobody closer to me than him, man. Like real shit. That shit fucked me up. So like, you know, I was already on the joint. Like my lawyer already told me like you gonna go upstate. Like, you know, I got a good deal, but she was like, you still got to go upstate. So once I went upstate, you know, like my cellie was a lifer and shit. Once I got to my jail and shit, my cellie was a lifer. And I'm like, yo, why the fuck they put me in the cell with somebody who got life and I got this low ass like time? But like overall, man, Fr8Train, man, good fucking dude. South Philly, man, Warren Peterson, good dude, man. It was just like so much shit that I soaked up from other guys, like older guys, like a lot of older guys. They like, yo, young boy, like you don't even deserve to be in, like, you know, niggas don't deserve to be in jail. He's like, but you know, like you different, man, like, you know. So a lot of niggas like push for me to get out the jail and shit, man. So like my joint, but like I'm not going back to jail because that'd be a smack in their face to like all the brothers. Like they'll literally give up a limb to come home. So once I came home, I was at Kentuck for like 4 months, and then my home plan got approved, and then I got paroled to my mom's crib. And so like, you know, I was DJing. I started DJing in like the 8th grade, like 99 and shit. So I got back to DJing and shit, man. My folks got me, you know, gave me some money. I got some equipment, and like I had a curfew when I came home out the halfway house. So like probably like my second week, I'm DJing. It's not even open no more. Club the Stream right there on Adams and Rising Sun. And my parole officer called me from another number, and he like, yo, Mr. Small, it don't sound like you're in the house. I'm like, I'm not. He like, where you at? I'm like, I'm DJing. He was like, all right, well, be home tomorrow. I'm coming past. This was a Saturday, so I'm in my head, I'm like, man, I'm about to get fucking locked back up. He came out. He was like, yo, listen, man, I'm gonna give you all the rope in the world. It's up to you whether you gonna do it, whether you gonna hang yourself or you gonna, you know, stay cool. He was like, man, I'm gonna take you off of this curfew. And he was like, I got a feeling about you that I ain't gonna have no issues with you. Fast forward, I got off of parole May 13th, 2015. And like throughout that time, I DJ'd up at the Barclays Arena. I was working with Love and Hip Hop, working with My Wild, shout out to Natalie. I DJ'd for BET, and then I had went out to Puerto Rico. So throughout this whole time and shit like that, I'm traveling, and like he just like, you know, they want you to give like 2 weeks in the notice in advance. He just was like, yo, I call him like, yo, Baker, I got to go. He's like, all right, go ahead, you got it. Like he literally would be like on a call. So I flipped over from state to city. So then I went back to the month-to-month reporting. I had a white boy, Lawrence. He was a cool ass white boy, man. Cool ass white boy. Like he had started giving me like bi-monthly. So March 19th, 2016, I was DJing at it's Triple Play. Well, it was called Triple Play, then it's called Barcode. I was coming home from DJing there, and I got into a bad car accident, man. Like I got rear-ended, and like I broke my jaw, broke 5 teeth in my mouth, dislocated my pelvis, had brain bleeding, bit through my lip and shit. I was mangled. My airbags didn't deploy and none of that shit in that Challenger. And so I was in a coma for a couple of days. They had me like an induced coma due to the brain injuries. So me coming out the house, once I got out the house, because I went from Presbyterian to Elkins Park to Moss Rehab, and once I got out the hospital, I come home, I got letters from my PO, my probation officer. They gave me a new probation officer. I no longer had Lawrence. I had this boy, what the fuck is this boy named? Davis, Chad Davis, yeah. If you watching this boy, you already know. But he was a nut, and he was black though, and that was the fucked up thing about it. I had like 3 letters, cause I missed 3 reporting periods due to me being in the hospital and shit. So like at this point, I can't talk really. I'm walking with a walker, like I'm fucked up, like I'm mangled. So my mom went down to me with me to my probation office and shit. And like I only had like 1 discharge paper from Presby. He's like, well, where you have a discharge paper? I'm like, yo, bro, clearly you can see that I'm not bullshit. I was in a fucking accident. So like they violated me and shit. I got another year of probation and shit for that. Because due to like, you know, he told me I could have better computed the information over to him and stuff like that. So yeah, so after that, man, like I just had like issues with bull like every day. Even like to the leading up to me getting off of parole. Like, we had gotten into it real bad. I'm just like, yo, bro, you was a fucking nut, man. Like, you really, I'm a black man. Like, I'm the least of your worries in this joint. I don't smoke, I don't drink. You see me in the news doing positive shit. You see me DJing and shit like that. I got my youth organization and shit. You see all this stuff like that, and you hounding me like I'm a nigga that's fucking violating you, dirty yarns and all that kind of goofy shit. Like, I ain't doing none of that. I'm all the way under your radar. And it was just like one of them joints, like he was constantly gunning for me. So like literally like my last couple months on that joint, he was like, I'm gonna take you from month to month to you gotta come see me every week. And I'm like, man, bro, I'm not coming. And like talking to my mom and my lady at the time, they like, yo, you only got a couple more months, man. If bull wants you to come down there every day, go down there every day. So I got off of that joint Mother's Day of last year, 2018. I got off of these papers and shit, Mother's Day. Yeah.
So let's get to the reform situation now. So I see that you a part of that, you know what I mean? Shout out to Daoud Bay. I see you a part of that as well.
Yeah, so shout out to my man D, big homie D from West Philly. He connected me with Bilal. Bilal, that was already my man. So Bilal had actually connected me with Daoud. And Daoud, he you know, he just been like, you know, like a big bro since. Like, you know, Daoud, real, you know, you hear about the stories about Daoud, and that's like, you know, but when you get to like sit down, you know, talking to the man, like, real positive dude, man. He real knowledgeable too, man. Real knowledgeable, real smart brother. But yeah, they brought me on. He brought me on Reform, more so about the thing that I just discussed with them violating me because I was in a car accident. So yeah, that's how I came down with Reform.
Right. And everybody know about Reform, you know, Meek, Ove, and you know everybody else that's a part of that. Right. So y'all the guys that's on the ground level, you know, putting in the work as well.
Grassroots.
Right. So man, and more recently, you know, Meek got charges dropped, you know, well, he had to plead guilty to the gun job, but they dropped all the other charges.
That was a blessing.
So now he officially off probation and all of that.
Right.
So you know, so that goes in conjunction with the movement that y'all got going on, because he gonna continue, you know, try to help out the other brothers going through that. So now let's get to your straight road, the state road, like I said, with the shirt you got on. Talk a little bit about this.
So the funny thing is, I came up with this, you know, while I was on State Road. It was just like one of them joints. Like, I was a straight A student from Bethune. I went to Conwell, and then I went to Masbom. You know, Masbom started going like downhill, but while I was in Bethune and Conwell, I received awards from President George Bush, the father, Secretary of State Madeleine Albright. I had artwork hung in the Artwork Kent Museum. I received the grants from and savings bonds from the United Bank, the black-owned bank. I was doing a lot, but it was like, again, once I got to high school, I started, you know, wanting to be like accepted more, wanting to be, you know, amongst the cool kids. But Straight Road to State Road basically is just like, you know, we promote like positive change in high risk adolescents, children, young adults, even adults. Like, we don't like shy away from the adults because like the brothers coming home from jail, especially like them doing 10 years. Like, when I was locked up, Twitter, Instagram, all this stuff came out, you know, touch phone, like, you know, like the iPhones, all that stuff like that came out while I was incarcerated. So it was like I had a little adjustment, you know, a little time adjusting back into society. So with this, you know, right now we have 4 initiatives. We have Change the Dialogue. Change the Dialogue is basically like an interactive panel discussion that that combats misconceptions and stigmas based around social issues. So that might be like mental health, that might be education, that might be like HIV, AIDS, any like social issue that that we have is we target the misconceptions and the stigmas based around those. And we actually just did something a couple weeks ago with Complex Magazine at City Hall. And then I had the chop shop. So like I'm a barber. So, being in the barber shop, this is like black folks like to say, like this is like our therapy. We come to the shop, you get your hair cut, and we talk about a range of issues, the current events, stuff that's going on in our personal lives and everything like that. So what I've seen is that a lot of younger brothers, they will open up more, in like an untraditional setting. Like if we're in a classroom and you try and ask them questions, they shut down automatically. Like in an environment that they're comfortable in, they open up more. They might curse a little bit, we allow that, we keep it to a minimum, but you get a better response from them, and you get a better understanding from the kids when they're not in like a traditional setting. So that's the chop shop. So that's like grooming and life skills, the life skills initiative. So then I had the SEPTA series. So a couple years ago, when SEPTA had that last big free fall down on one of the transportation lines, like the kids was doing the flash mob, and 3 of the kids in my program, they was involved with that. So we came together, Ryan, Akia, Wallow, Gil came, Malik Jackson, shout out to Malik, Carl, my man Buddha from Frankfurt. It was a gang of us, but we came together. The SEPTA series actually was taking the classroom to the actual transportation line. So like we only did one event at Bridge and Pratt. It was like a pop-up, but they wanted, dealing with SEPTA, it's like they want you to have insurance, they want you to have this, because they're not trying to get sued for anything. So we actually going to be launching that back off in the next couple of months. And the last part to that is the high school peace jam. So it was just something more so to like, give the kids an outlet. But before, like we had like, we did it a couple years ago. We had Zoe Dollars. He was signed to Future. And actually, this is when I got into the accident. So like the event never happened because I got into the accident.
Well, yeah, I remember that because you were telling me about that.
Correct. Yeah. I think I had you on the
thing. Yeah, I was supposed to be a part of
exactly.
So I remember that.
I got into the accident March 19th. That was supposed to happen March 26th. So like the overall thing for that, we had like Youth Build. They was gonna come out and like sign kids up who was like dropouts who wanted to like get their GED, go back to school. We had Philadelphia Fight. Philadelphia Fight actually gave my first job as a HIV/AIDS counselor. So we was gonna have them down there doing testing, and if you got tested, you'll get a raffle for like a Sneakerville gift card. Sneakerville was sponsoring it. Mothers in Charge, Miss Dorothy, my man Ryan. It was an event that never happened, but we plan on having that again this year, like around Christmas time, a high school peace jam. So like right now, it's like I'm a one-man band. I do all my own graphics, I do our websites, I do all our PR work, our marketing. So it's like it becomes to be a bit strenuous because I'm DJing, I'm cutting hair, I'm a father, and then trying to do all this other stuff is like you getting pulled in too many different directions. It begins to be a bit tiring. So things with the organization been cool, as far as in like we got some strong possibilities for like funding. So yeah, just still working it, and just trying to get another facility to where as though we have an actual location where people can drop in and we can service people there. So it's still, like in the beginning stages.
Got you. And on that note, pardon me. On that note, go ahead and plug your social media and how people could, follow you and support what you got going on. Like, let them know.
So like again, I DJ. So my DJ page, that's my main page that I work on too. DJ Fr8Train. It's DJ Fr8Train. And then my actual business page where I got my LLC for, where I do all it's like a PR company, is Fr8Train Cargo, and that's Fr8Train Cargo, CARGO, and we do websites, PR, like public relations, marketing, graphics, web development, brand development, and my last page is my organization page, and it's the SR Project, and that stands for the Straight Road to the State Road, and that's that.
Gotcha. And on that note, man, we signing out. Got DJ Fr8Train, aka Reginald Smalley. They got you on the Reform page, and they got you with your government handle all that. So I gotta put that out there so everybody knows the same person. That's just the AKA. Nah, I mean, so we signing out on that note. F.A.M.E TV. Till next time.
All right.